The restaurant was filled with the quiet hum of laughter, clinking glasses, and the rich aroma of roasted lamb and spices. At a corner table, Daniel, a single dad, sat with his 7-year-old daughter, Emily. He wasn't dressed in designer suits like the others around them. His shirt was clean but worn, his hands rough from long hours of carpentry. He had promised Emily a special night out, even if it meant cutting back on his own meals for the week. To him, moments like these mattered more than money. At the other end of the restaurant, a woman sat surrounded by admirers. She was known to everyone there, Layla Al-Hussein, a female billionaire whose empire stretched across industries from fashion to tech. She was radiant, every inch of her glowing with wealth and power. And yet, her sharp tongue was sharper than any diamond she wore. As Daniel passed her table on the way back from the restroom, Layla noticed his calloused hands and the modest way he carried himself. She leaned toward her companions and, with a sly smile, muttered something in Arabic. The people at her table chuckled, assuming Daniel couldn't understand. He didn't. But his daughter did. Emily's eyes, wide and innocent, lifted from her plate. She had spent years listening to her late mother, who was Lebanese, sing to her in Arabic, tell her bedtime stories, and teach her the beauty of her heritage. Though her father never fully grasped the language, Emily had. She slid off her chair, walked over to the billionaire's table, and in flawless Arabic, her little voice rang clear, sad face, my dad is the richest man I know, not in money, but in love. You don't understand real wealth. The laughter at the table died instantly. Forks froze mid-air. Layla blinked, taken aback, not just by the child's words, but by the confidence and purity in her tone. Daniel hurried over, embarrassed, ready to apologize. But before he could speak, Emily slipped her small hand into his. Daddy, you don't need to say sorry. She just doesn't know you like I do. Something shifted in the air. Layla, a woman who had crushed competitors with ease, suddenly felt a sting she hadn't expected. The child's words struck deeper than any boardroom defeat. For a moment, she remembered her own father, a man who had died chasing wealth, leaving her with everything money could buy, except warmth. Her throat tightened. She looked at Daniel, then at Emily, and for the first time in years, her voice softened. Your daughter, she's extraordinary. Daniel nodded humbly. She is. And she reminds me every day that I don't need much to feel like the richest man alive. The billionaire sat in silence. Her friends avoided her eyes, uncomfortable with the sudden turn. Finally, she reached into her clutch, pulled out a black card, and slid it across the table. Daniel frowned. I don't need charity. Layla shook her head. It's not charity. It's an apology. And an invitation. I run schools and foundations across the world. Children like Emily, their light deserves to shine even brighter. If she wants, I'll make sure she has every door open to her. Daniel hesitated. He wanted to refuse. But Emily, with the wisdom of a child, squeezed his hand and whispered, Daddy, maybe this time, kindness is meant to go both ways. Tears welled in Layla's eyes. For years, she had been admired for her wealth but never for her heart. This little girl, with her honesty, had undone her arrogance in seconds. That night, the billionaire left the restaurant not as the woman who mocked a single dad, but as someone humbled by a child's truth. And Daniel left knowing his daughter had given the world something no money could ever buy, a reminder that love, kindness, and respect are the only real currencies that last. Because sometimes, the richest people in the room aren't the ones with the biggest bank accounts. They're the ones holding the smallest hands. Ending note, this story ties together compassion, humility, and family love, leaving the listener inspired with a positive, global message.